Hey folks! So I just got back from seeing the Barbie movie, and let me tell you, I've got some thoughts. Don't worry, I'll keep it spoiler free for the most part in the beginning. I'll let you know when we're about to go into a deeper discussion, but for the time being, let's go over some basics. The Barbie movie was released July 21st, 2023. It stars Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. It is directed by Greta Gerwig. And let me tell you, Barbie is campy with tons of heart, to say the least. To put it basically, without too many spoilers, the Barbie movie is about a Barbie doll living in Barbieland who is expelled from the world for not being perfect enough, too eccentric and not fitting into the usual mold. She's even called stereotypical Barbie, which I think is hilarious. She goes on an adventure in the real world, and by the time she returns to Barbieland to save it, she has gained the realization that perfection comes from the inside, not the outside. It gets a little existential in there, and definitely pulled a couple tears for me, not gonna lie. So if you have yet to see it, please do. It's perfect for a movie day out with your buds, and it is appealing to all ages. It definitely has enough substance that it will resonate with an older audience, considering it is a PG-13 rating. Overall, I think I would rate it as 4.5 high heels out of 5. It was a lot of fun. Alright, for those who would like to stay and have a discussion of gender roles within Barbieland and beyond, buckle up your pink seatbelts and hold on tight.
Closer, I am fine.
First and foremost, I gotta give some context here. Barbie is very much a movie that examines gender roles from a very cis, white, straight perspective. That is not to say that those are not valid perspectives, but it's something that we need to acknowledge. There are so many layers to this discussion, so please be patient with me. As a transgender man, this is all from my perspective. Everything I'm about to talk about is not meant to be applicable to everyone in every situation. Take this with a grain of salt, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. In the Barbie movie, we see the stereotypical roles of femininity and masculinity within society put on full display. First and foremost, we have to talk about femininity. So, from my point of view, this movie is oozing pink out of every possible shot. As you might have heard, there wasn't even enough pink paint to paint their entire set. I really hope that's true because that's iconic. I think there's quite a few pros and cons of high femininity in this context. The first thing I saw that stood out to me is the sisterhood and solidarity that the Barbies just portray. They are what seems to be all best friends, which is very nice to see. There's no real bad blood, which is kind of refreshing. All the Barbies are there to support each other. They will literally do anything to support each other. For instance, toppling the patriarchy. And after some character growth, they don't leave anyone out, even if they're a bit funky. It's something that there is a clear difference when it comes to similar gendered friendships, where you kind of just understand each other and what you've been through. From my point of view as a trans person, there's certain things that I can express to other trans men that trans women won't necessarily understand, and vice versa. And similarly, from my time spent as someone perceived as female in this world, can vouch for the fact that I definitely had stronger relationships with other feminine people in my life. I think it's also important to talk about the individuality that we see within Barbie.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party.
Feminine people are encouraged to dress how you'd like. Yes, there are certain societal expectations, but we can see this in Barbie's world. She has so many options of clothing. She can dress how she likes and has an outfit for every occasion. A dress one day and a pantsuit the next day, and she can literally conquer the world in both of those fits. Feminine people can dress how they would like, and it's all good, generally speaking. Something that I'd also like to mention is the soft power of femininity. Think of this as being persuasive and how subtlety is the name of the game. The Barbie movie touches on this in the scene where they have to take Barbieland back from the Kens. They distract Ken easily with a well-thought-out plan in order to get the other Barbies on board. This really touches on how soft power and subtlety are very powerful tools to the fabric of society. And it's not just something that feminine folks can take advantage of. There's also soft power within masculine spaces as well. But it's something that we really need to talk about more. That being said, we need to talk about the cons of femininity.
This is the real world. What's going on? Why are these men looking at me?
Yeah, they're also staring at me.
The first being sexualization and discrimination. We see this on full display when Barbie comes to the real world in the movie, and when Ken brings the patriarchy back to Barbieland. Barbie is catcalled, hollered at, and sexually assaulted, essentially, on the street. Which, to be fair, she does retaliate. Our reality is very unkind to feminine people, specifically those who would like to dress how they would like to dress and express themselves independently of societal expectations. Another con that can be attributed to femininity is the inscrutable and rigid beauty standards of our society that hurt not only women, but those of all genders. Gloria, the mom from the movie, puts this on full display when she helps the Barbies realize what it's like to be a woman in the 21st century. Another downside to femininity is the domestic expectations placed upon women and feminine people in our society. Although stereotypical Barbie does not have an expectation to be a mother, as Gloria explains, it really is a double-edged sword of being both a caring, loving mother and a career woman. There is undue burden placed on the caregiver within a household, and in all honesty, I could go on about this topic for days. Transitioning into masculinity.
This one is for the boys.
Society sees masculinity as the default. We see this in the Barbie movie when Ken gets a taste of the real world. He takes quite a liking to the world built for him. I think at that moment in time, he kind of changes as a character. I don't know if you did this, but my partner and I definitely groaned when we saw Ken go up the escalator and see the images of George Bush and the American flag alongside horses as the symbol of dominating masculinity within our American culture. And it was just a, yikes, this isn't gonna go well moment. I think another con of masculinity is the high expectations of success. Think of this as entitlement, if you will. In the Barbie movie, we see that Ken assumes that he is entitled to everything in the real world just because he is a man. But as soon as he gets pushback, say, from a lack of qualifications, perhaps, he gets frustrated and decides to go back to Barbieland and design for himself a world that is perfect. Last but not least, there is definitely something to be said about everyone knows that Ken has way fewer options than Barbie in the fashion department. That extends pretty much into reality, where men aren't expected to be as cleaned up, and when they try even a little bit, it's amazing. But God forbid, he tried too much, and suddenly he is gay. The point is, there is such a low bar in masculine clothing. To be honest, as someone who passes now, my style really hasn't changed between before and after I started my transition. And yet, the perception of my style from the world around me has definitely shifted.
You know, I cried too. It's actually kind of amazing.
Another con to masculinity is the lack of emotional acceptability and solidarity. As we see in the movie, the Kens, especially Ryan Gosling's Ken, see each other all as competition and don't have deep relationships in comparison to that of the Barbies. Pop Culture Detective really has several amazing essays on this topic that are very much worth a watch. There's something to also be said about the con of emotional incompetence and the inflated ego that Ken seems to portray. But to be fair, he is intended to be the side character in this movie, so it is understandable why he has less character development. All of the Kens subscribe to this very typical masculinity, and the ones that don't are discontinued and cast out from society, all of which find solace in the strange punk aesthetic of Weird Barbie's Mansion in the Hills.
You can go back to your regular life, or you can know the truth about the universe. The choice is now yours.
The first one, the high heel.
You have to want to know, okay? Do it again.
Anyways, it was a great time. Barbie is iconic. Without these great writers and actors and directors, we would not have this amazing film. In conclusion, take your friends, take your boyfriend to go see the Barbie movie. Help Warner Brothers Discovery to understand that only human artists and creatives can really tell their stories. That's a topic for another video. Thank you so much for bearing with my rather long-winded discussion about the Barbie movie, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see y'all soon.
I won't let you do just one appendectomy,
But I'm a man.
but not a doctor.
Can I talk to a doctor?
You are talking to a doctor.
I need a clicky pen?
No.
A sharp thing?
No.
There he is. Doctor!